So we finally have Black Adam, with an RT score of 39 and an audience score of 89. That's a big difference, wouldn't you say? I saw the film and wanted to share some of my thoughts about it. Just a quick recap of the story. In an ancient city called Kahndaq, Teth Adam was bestowed the power of gods. After using those powers for vengeance, he was imprisoned, becoming Black Adam. After 5,000 years pass, Black Adam emerges again, and now that he's free, he has this sense of justice born out of rage, and is challenged by the modern day heroes, the Justice Society, featuring Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Adam Smasher and Cyclone. First, let me start off by saying that I really like Dwayne Johnson. I think he's a great guy. I think the cast is a really good cast. Pierce Brosnan is even in this film, and I think he did well as Dr. Fate. So this ancient city of Kahndaq is supposed to be an Arab country. In fact, in the comics, it is an Arab country on the continent of Africa, and it's located between Egypt and Jordan, or Egypt and Palestine. According to online sources, it says that the capital city of Kahndaq is called Shiruta, which I believe was Black Adam's wife. And it says that culturally, the official language of Kahndaq is Arabic, that at least one of its official languages is Arabic, and culturally the country is similar to Egypt. Now I have to give the film credit. I have roots in Egypt, so I know what Egypt is like. I've been to Egypt. And I did get a sense that this country was Egypt. In particular, the statues and the way they looked. There's a certain type of greyness and weatheredness about some of the sites in Egypt that they did match very well. And they even have these two statues which reminded me of similar statues in Egypt. I've actually been to this location before. But if it's supposed to be an Arab country, where's the Arabic? I don't see any Arabic on the signs. I don't see any Arabic anywhere. This means that there was a conscious decision not to include Arabic because all of these signs were designed. And I don't get why they do this. Why are they so scared to feature Arabic? And this isn't the first film to do this. Dune did the same thing, and I'll get to that issue one day. I really don't think there would have been any kind of backlash because they featured actual Arabic in the signs. Anyway, moving on. Kahndaq is supposed to be based on Egypt, so there should have been more Egyptian influences in the film. And according to these online sources, the majority of the Kandaki population are relatively liberal Sunni Muslims, who are willing to view Black Adam as a kind of prophet along the lines of Muhammad. Now, I'm not sure whether this is entirely true, but I can see what was meant here. The movie kind of portrays him more as a leader, a hero, rather than a prophet, so I don't believe it's really a prophet. But there's something interesting about Kahndaq and its origins. The name Kahndaq is actually an Arabic word, pronounced more like Khandaq, which is the Battle of the Ditch, and the Arabic word Khandaq originally comes from the Persian language. It's also known as the Battle of the Trench, or the Battle of Kahndaq, or the Battle of the Confederates. And this is a famous battle in Muslim history. The Battle of the Ditch occurred in 627 AD. Al-Khandaq, meaning the ditch, was an early victory for the Muslims, which made the Meccans recognize the political and religious strength of the Muslim community in Medina. There was a Meccan army of 3,000 men who had defeated the undisciplined Muslim forces at Uhud near Medina in 625 AD. Muhammad, the Prophet, was wounded himself, and in March 627, when they persuaded a number of Bedouin tribes to join their cause, the Meccans brought a force of 10,000 men against Medina. Muhammad resorted to tactics unfamiliar to the Arabs, who were accustomed to brief, isolated raids. Rather than meet the enemy in the usual way, he had a ditch dug around Medina, at the suggestion of a Persian convert, Salman. The Meccan horsemen gave up, and they dispersed. With the Muslim and Meccan forces now more evenly matched, and the Meccans tired of war that damaged their trade, which was a big thing for them, Muhammad used his victory to negotiate greater concessions for the Muslims in a treaty at Al-Hudaybiyah. So the Battle of the Ditch, the Battle of Al-Khandaq, was used as inspiration for the Black Adam story. So the battle between the invading forces and the Justice League, Black Adam and ultimately the Kandaki people, has similarities with the story of the early Muslims, the Battle of the Ditch, and the fight to protect Medina. And it's named after a prominent Islamic historical event. This also mirrors part of the story of Dune, where the external forces oppress the people of Arrakis and the Fremen, all for the control of the spice. In Black Adam we have the International Crime Syndicate, or the Intergang, which has occupied Kahndaq, and their militant leader seeks power and wishes to rule Kahndaq with the demonic power, the power of Sabak, or the Crown of Sabak. I honestly wish there were more practical effects. I think it would have worked much better, for the villain especially. So what did I like about the movie? If you look closely enough, you can see things like the occupational wall, for example. I like Black Adam's suit, I thought that was cool. His suit had kind of these Islamic geometrical shapes, which I thought was cool. Similar shapes that were used in the Dune movie for the Dune poster, in a subtle way. More on that here. I liked Pierce Brosnan in the film, I thought he was good. I really liked Mo. I thought Mo Amer was great, he was funny. He added a sense of authenticity, which I really enjoyed. And he had a really good experience working on this film, and I'm glad he did. But this experience isn't shared by everyone. It didn't really translate to everyone else, the Arab audience, who I guess are still looking for authentic representation in the media. He says we were really trying to make something that is potent, new and fresh, and there was never a token Arab joke. He had to change, it was refreshing, and he said, I can't even tell you, I get emotional because I've been in this game a long time. In every way, I never experienced anything like this. It's truly incredible. And he also has a really good show, check that out. My thoughts on whether Black Adam should have been played by an Arab, I don't believe that he should have been played by an Arab. I think Dwayne Johnson's great. I don't mind actors, especially actors of high status who are not Arab, playing Arabic characters if they contribute and raise awareness to Arab issues. In fact, I think it's a fantastic thing. It's been done in Miss Marvel, where Aramis Knight plays Kareem, or the Red Dagger, a Pakistani hero, and he's not Pakistani himself, and that doesn't matter. He did a fantastic job, and I saw no issue with it. We also had Rahul Kohli play a Muslim sheriff in Midnight Mass, and he did great. So I don't believe Black Adam had to be played by an Arab or an Egyptian. Dwayne Johnson was absolutely fine playing that role. And the reason I'm fine with all of this is because I know the state of Hollywood at the moment. It could be better, definitely. But I believe that the star power was important for this film. But as I said before, I don't mind these actors playing these types of roles if they actually shed light on the issues of the Arabs they're portraying. And of course, whether it's fiction or not. Fiction has always been a doorway to fact, and for us to reflect on our actual reality through the art. And through that, I believe we can change for the better. And it can even be healing. But looking at some of these complaints, like no redemption for the whiteness in Black Adam, you see valid points being made. And there are some valid questions like, why do the Kahndaqi characters have Middle Eastern accents but Black Adam does not? You know, it's valid. And the thing is, Dwayne Johnson has played an Egyptian before in The Scorpion King in the Mummy franchise. So you think he would have evolved and learned something by now, right? And I felt a slight melancholy. Why do these fictional Arab countries always have to be oppressed? Why do they have to be subject to external invading forces and things of that nature? Why can they not be prosperous like Wakanda? And this is obviously something I've delved into in the Arab futurism realm because I've written on the subject. But it feels that this Arab futurism doesn't exist in Black Adam. And if you're really going to speak about oppressed people, especially Arab people, in a fictional sense, at least make it more Arab. Otherwise, it's kind of fruitless. It doesn't really amount to much. And the fact that these fictional Arab people get behind an anti-hero is questionable in and of itself.
I don't know their crimes, but whatever they are, these men should face due process.
Obviously, the movie tries to justify their reasoning behind why they would follow someone like Black Adam, and to be honest with you, it made sense. But something just doesn't feel right about this whole thing. Visual effects and great actors and people aside. They cast some Arab actors and I'm glad they got the work. But what was the point of casting them for authenticity when the story itself is kind of inauthentic in the sense that they don't use real Arabic, they don't really focus on the Arabness of the storyline. It just feels like light flavoring to me, which doesn't really amount to much. I don't believe that if they had made this film more authentically Arabic, that there would have been a backlash. I think companies are just too sensitive, filmmakers are just too sensitive, or they fear that perhaps people will dislike the movie if it's more authentically Arabic. I don't know. I thought some of the graphics were a little off, but considering how VFX artists and houses are treated these days, I don't blame them. I thought Noah Centineo was good, he was funny, I liked his character. I thought Sarah Shahi was good as well, but the story did feel a little rushed and VFX heavy, and some things didn't make sense. But overall, an okay movie. Between the critics and the audience score, you have to meet it somewhere in the middle, so probably about 59% is probably a more accurate score. It makes me think about anti-heroes and whether or not people embrace them today, a subject I'll be covering too. But what did you think about Black Adam? Were you a fan of the comics? Let me know in the comments section below. If you're interested in more, check out this video.